Well, hello, good morning. It's time. And what time is it? Time to be aware that now is all you've got. So, with that being said, it being this particular time, in this case, it happens to be morning, let's start with a good morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, magnificent morning. Oh, yes, again, that beautiful reminder of choice that we get to choose. And what is it that we get to choose? We get to choose what things mean. We get to choose what every moment means. We get to choose what is happening anywhere and everywhere. The meaning of all of that. Now, think about that. That's something that you have available in you to use however you want to use it. And if you use it wisely to, for instance, look for the good, to see the good, to seek the good, I got news for you. That's what's going to come into your life. What you are seeking is literally seeking you. The ideas that you consent to, the meanings that you give things determines your reality. It determines everything. It can shift everything in your life if you'll just use it in a way that is in harmony with good. And from there, all you have to do is just watch it grow. Remember, the law gets enforced regardless of whether or not you're knowledgeable or ignorant of it. Like causes lead to like effects. Everything produces after its kind. And that's what we dive into and study and use here at Elevitality. That's what we've all been working on here as we've been studying this incredible material, this book here, the Master Key System. Now, if you don't have a copy of this, make sure you do have a copy of it. And if you want to read along word for word, page for page, then get this exact copy, the one with this cover. And then from there, underline it, take notes, highlight it, and most importantly, implement it in your life. Use it in your life. Remember, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. The only way it becomes power is when it's used. Now, you might be asking, or maybe not be asking, but you might be asking, then why are you repeating this again and again and again so many times? Well, there's a reason for it. And I do this on purpose. And that's because repetition is the mother of learning. You see, it's through the repetition that you embed ideas into you subconsciously. And when they are in you subconsciously, guess what? They become the patterns in your life. They become your habits. And through those habits gets delivered the life. That's a beautiful gem from James Allen in Out from the Heart. Out of the heart proceeds the life. And what's in the heart? Well, it's habits, beliefs. Change your habits, change your beliefs, change your life. And that's what we're hoping that you get as you maneuver through this information. Now, before we proceed and go into the book, my reminder for you is of this amazing event that we have coming up on September 27th. This is Saturday of Emergence, where we're going to dive deeper into this. And I highly recommend that you do go and register if you haven't done so already, and also invite other people to join us for this beautiful event. It's going to be amazing, incredible. You're going to learn a lot. And by the way, you will hear a lot of the same things, but guess what? If you go there with the intention to learn more, to absorb more, I got news for you. That's exactly what you'll get. So make sure that you do come in because it's going to be amazing. All right, so shall we dive into this? Let's go into where we are and make sure you do have your goal card with you. Make sure that you use this because it will be beneficial to you, provided you do use this. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, boom. There we are. Now, where are we in this book? Well, we are on page 356. And the question here is, how do experiences come to us? How do experiences come to you? Experiences meaning the results, what's happening. And the answer to that is through the law of attraction. Now, again, grab onto that. The experiences that you have are happening through the law of attraction. LOA. That's what The Secret was based from. But unfortunately, The Secret didn't go deep enough to help you to understand what causes attraction, which leads me to another important statement for you. If you've been studying the law of attraction, stop studying the law of attraction and instead study what leads to attraction. What leads to attraction is frequency, it's vibration, it's feeling. Feeling is the secret. Write that in your notes around this. Feeling is the secret. Right around your notes too as well, or around this section. Vibration is where it's at, and vibration is feeling. When you learn how to control the vibratory state you're in, you control what comes to you, what you go to. You also control what's repelled by you and what you're repelled by. And again, where does it start? It starts in the mind. It starts in how you think. You want to change how much you earn? Change the vibratory state you're in. Change how you're thinking. Change what you believe to be true, the habits you have. Remember, how much you're earning is happening because of that vibratory state. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Not any more, not any less. That is a result. See, that's an effect. That is an experience in your life that's happening because of how you're thinking. Change how you're thinking. Change what's planted in the fertile soil of your heart, of which is a combination of those beliefs and habits. Change that, you change your life. It's very simple. Again, remember, like causes lead to like effects. Now, how is this law brought into operation? By our predominant mental attitude, by your predominant mental attitude. And what is the predominant mental attitude? Is it something that's conscious? No, it's not. Your predominant mental attitude is something that's subconscious. It's something that you're feeling. Remember, when you're feeling something, it's subconscious in you. Now, again, really grab onto that. The predominant mental attitude in you is what this law is brought into operation from. How you are feeling, which comes from how you are thinking. Not what you're thinking, how you're thinking. And again, change that. You'll change your life. Maybe right now, the situation in your life is, okay, there's a lot of debt and there's more month at the end of the money, and you want to change that. Well, you've got to understand it, that if that's what the case is right now, that's what your predominant mental attitude is. That's how you're thinking most of the time. If you want to change that to live a life of prosperity, abundance, success beyond anything that you've ever experienced, then that's what has to be your predominant mental attitude. Remember, things are not brought into existence with a predominant attitude that is rooted in its opposite. If you want to be happy most of the time, your predominant mental attitude must be that of happiness. Which brings me to that beautiful statement from D.H. Lawrence that Neville Goddard shared in Awakened Imagination. Those that go seeking for love only make manifest their own lovelessness. And the loveless never find love. Only the loving find love, and they never have to seek for it. See, in that statement, there are two different kinds of people. Ones who want, which is the predominant mental attitude, which delivers them being more in want. And then there's the other attitude of those who have it, those who are it, those who are being it. Being it where? Being it in their imagination, being it inside. And by being it, guess what? That's what shows up in your life. Now, guess who has to choose that for you in your life? This is where you get to point at yourself and go, it's me, I do. You do. See, it's always in you, and you're the one that's responsible for it. So take responsibility for it. Claim ownership of everything that's been happening in you internally and choose to change how you've been thinking. Remember, that's dealing with the cause, the primal cause, which is what I'm so grateful for Bob Proctor sharing with me. See, when you deal with the primal cause, you deal with the results, the effects. Why? Because like causes lead to like effects. So again, how is this law, the law of attraction, brought into operation? By our predominant mental attitude. And you're the one that gets to choose what your attitude's going to be. Remember, everything is fundamentally meaningless. Everything just is. Nothing is good or bad. It's our thinking that makes it so. Your reality has nothing to do with the facts. See that? My reality has nothing to do with the facts. What does it have to do with? It has to do with the meanings that you give those facts. And who determines the meanings? Who determines the attitude towards these things? It's you. See, this is where your imagination comes into play. You're either a slave to your imaginings or a master of your imagination. See, that is something that you are imaging. And again, you're the one who gets to choose what that image is and whether or not you're going to hold it on the screen of your mind. Now, let's go further, shall we? What is the issue between the old regime and the new? What's the issue? Well, it's a question of conviction as to the nature of the universe. The nature of the universe. When you understand the nature of the universe, oh my God, everything changes. Why? Because with that understanding, you'll see that everything gets delivered according to law. So a question of conviction as to the nature of the universe is what is the issue. The old regime is trying to cling to the fatalistic doctrine of divine election. The new regime recognizes the divinity of the individual, the divinity of humanity. Now, that's a huge difference between the two. And it's the latter that determines emancipation, freedom, expression, constant growth. The other is locked into a belief that keeps people stuck. In other words, the reactionary state. And by the way, that's what's happening today in this world right now. The war is not about good versus evil. It's about thinking versus non-thinking. It's about reactors versus responders. It's the responders that grow and feel good inside and live a life of growth in a big, beautiful way. It's the reactors that live in a world where their mind is closed, which means their beliefs don't change, which means they continually live in negativity. Remember, all negativity is subconscious. No one intentionally invites negativity into their life. So again, which regime here now are you going to connect with? Now, before we go further, for those of you who are watching this live stream, if you've been connecting with this and love to dive into this and use it in your life more, to watch the rest of this call and the recordings, because yes, we do record these calls, then go to elevitality.com and register for Master Your Mind. You will thank yourself later.